it all comes down to this. One weekend, two races will define the Formula E World Champion, where we will have one world champion claimed. It could be another world champion who has already been claimed world champion before, so it could have another multiple one, like John-Eric Run, or it could be another new world champion where Formula E are on quite a run of that.
Three will be the next question.
Yes, Formula E is ready to have its final show for the 2025-2026 season and the final show for the Excel London Centre, because the British round next year or next season will now go to Brands Hatch in a weird turn of events, but it will be quite interesting to see how that plays out. But it means this fascinating, unique indoor-outdoor sort of venue is now no more for Formula E. And yeah, the British rounds have been passed around quite a few times over the years. And it was actually rumoured that it would have gone to Silverstone if they were going to move away, but that seems to have gone to World Endurance Championship and some other things like that. But yeah, Brands Hatch is still a decent track and a decent one, but this week is just going to be so busy because it's a double header, just like Tokyo, and in 2 days. So yeah, and you've got the added thing that's going to be a new world champion, regardless of who it is too. This is going to be so fascinating. Formula E have been at the Excel ever since 2023, and in that time Nick Cassidy has had the most wins in 3, including a double last year, 2 race victories, and the most race winning team is Edam's Renault or Jaguar with 3. I think that Edam's for the Renault, it was classes before they went to the Excel. I think I'm not really too up to date with my Formula E history, but that's what I believe. And the track length is 2.09 kilometers, which translates to 1.3 miles. And yeah, like I say, if you look at what happened last year for race 1, Mitch Evans got pole in the Jaguar, but Nick Cassidy, his then teammate, would win the race, with Nick De Vries second and Pascal Wehrlein, the outgoing world champion, in third. And for the race 2, Dan Tickton got the pole. Nick Cassidy won again, like I've mentioned, so he got done the double there, with Nick De Vries again second, so Cassidy and De Vries really locked the number 1 and number 2 positions last year in London, and Sebastian Buemi got a podium in third on the last race of Formula E last season. But as we go into the standings for going into this weekend, it's Jack Dennis at the top, the Andretti man, the 2023 world champion, the Brit. He could be world champion again this weekend in 146 points. You have Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, who hasn't won a title yet, but has been so unfortunate over the years. He is 2 points back from Jack Dennis in 144. And then you've got the champion from 2 years ago, Pascal Wehrlein, in the Porsche. He is 3 points back of Jack Dennis and 1 point back underneath Mitch Evans in third on 141. There are a few others that are mathematically still in it, but you know, they don't really have a good shot at it. Ollie Rowland is about 20 points further back, so it is possible that, you know, the defending champ could defend it. But I personally think he's going to be the outgoing world champion. But he's had a great season, and he's had a great sort of comeback to get to this point too, in the number 1 Nissan. But it's going to be so fascinating, even just to be there as well. I can't wait. That was such a fun last year, and I enjoyed it much more than what I expected as well. So the fact that, I mean, I'm doing it again properly this weekend, like do the whole thing and all that kind of stuff, rather than rush around on Sunday. That is the one thing I regret doing, but that's because I didn't really think about it that back then. Now I've thought about it and I've got a proper sort of program, if you like, a proper schedule for myself. But this is going to be fascinating, and this is going to be the last race, like I said, at the XL2. And it's quite a shame because I do like the sort of idea of it being indoor-outdoor. It kind of gives you, you know, a unique factor to it, and that's what's quite cool about Formula E. Sometimes they can do these sort of things. Meanwhile, other series that are more established, if you like, that have had a way more history than Formula E, who are only in their 13th season, can't really do. That's like why when they had the previous generations of cars, they didn't have any rear wings and stuff like that. I mean, that was quite cool just to see, and that sort of concept. Meanwhile, other sort of series, they can't really do that because of the history and tradition and all that kind of stuff. But this is kind of cool about what's Formula E, and that's what's really sort of put me onto the series the last few years or so, especially this year after I've seen it live, and I'm going to continue seeing it live until I can't really find a way anymore. But yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for Formula E, but it's going to be so interesting to see who's going to be world champion. Personally, I probably think it's going to be Jack Dennis. They seem to be getting hot right at the right time. Mitch Evans, he could have a shot, but they had a decent shot a few years ago and they messed up their strategy, so I don't know about that. But although my personal sort of viewpoint, I would love to see Pascal Wehrlein get another world championship, because like I've said a few times in his videos, I really thought he was treated badly in Formula 1, and sort of like that would be a good sticking his fingers up at Formula 1, just to sort of have another head in his cap and another title on his head sort of thing. But that's what I personally like to see. But with the points and how they get played out, anything is possible, and you know, all you have to do is get pole position and you win 2 points. So it's going to be so interesting, so fascinating, and it's double points, double prizes in the fact that that is a double header, like I've said, quite like Tokyo a few weeks ago. So it's going to be so fascinating, and yeah, it's going to be so good, and I just can't wait to get into it now. But yes, Formula E London awaits.